There are so many people wanting to move to Japan at the moment and get a job. So we've all done it somehow as non-Japanese people.
Yay.
I thought we could discuss and share our stories with you guys. So let's dive right into how to get a job and move to Japan. Da-da-da-da. First of all, we all come from different backgrounds, different places. Let's give a bit of background about who we are and why we're here. Take it away, Shah.
Oh shit, me first? Okay.
Yeah. You're not in the videos much.
Yeah, I'm never really in the videos. I'm in it every now and then.
Why?
Like,
What do you do?
I'm behind the camera usually. I do the camera work, some of the production, I manage the edits. I work with other companies, other YouTubers in Japan as well. I'm actually originally from London. Many years ago, I used to work in finance actually, but got into content, photography, video work and whatnot. And now I'm at TC doing video production full time, and I work with Sarah very closely.
Yes, we talk like almost every day.
Yeah, not always about video production.
No, but a lot of it.
Yeah, sometimes that's why we have some gaps in the video sometimes. We try to have a certain quality of video come out.
So yeah, Shah from London, and then
I'm from Brisbane, Australia, but my parents are British. Sometimes people get confused with my accent because it's not super Aussie. I don't know, but yeah, parents from England. I was brought up in Australia.
yeah, and I'm also from Australia, but Sydney, and my parents, one German parent, one Australian parent. We all kind of have different stories, but why did we want to move and work in Japan? Let's start with that.
Am I going first again?
I can go first. Okay, so for me personally, I thought Japan was always an exciting place, and I loved the culture from a young age, and I thought, I want to live abroad and I want to do it in Japan and just experience it. And I didn't really think far ahead. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And then I'll work it out once I get there.
Yeah.
And luckily, we come from countries that have the working holiday visa, so I just applied for it when I graduated from uni. I think we all went to uni. I took my time with uni. 23, 24, and then I just moved here, and it's been 6 years. So that's why I moved. I just had this passion.
Yeah, I feel like I'm similar where I was like, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to university, and after I graduated, pretty much immediately after a few months, I moved to Japan because I knew I wanted to be here. Growing up, my dad showed me a lot of like anime and Ghibli movies, and I got interested in Japanese. And also I studied Japanese from primary school, like 2006.
That's so long, wow.
Yeah, always had an interest, and then I came here on holiday one time, and I just realized I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try to make it work. And then yeah, I moved here again on the working holiday visa.
So no plan working holiday.
No plan working holiday.
What's you? Did you have a plan?
I'm the third with that, no plan working with it as well.
But it all worked out.
Yeah, I think it is, you go full force into it of the no plan working holiday, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna work it out. I feel like if I came with a plan, it wouldn't have gone as well as it did.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, that's the other side of it. I feel like I would have fallen back on things rather than trying to make things work that I wanted to work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, my background was in finance. I used to work in finance back in London. After I quit after 5 years of it. I want to do stuff that I actually want to do and live my life how I want to, and came to Japan on holiday that year, and I was like, okay, Tokyo is the next challenge.
What year was this?
I visited 2017. It was a 1 month trip, and in that month I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Tokyo. And then I moved here 2019. So now it's in my 6th year in Japan now. And yeah, it was working holiday visa, being British, I can do that. There was no plan, no job, no apartment, nothing lined up. And I remember that first month was the most stressed I've ever been in my life.
Did you speak Japanese?
No, zero, nothing.
Oh, wow.
It was, I
studied
studied a bit back in London after I decided that I'm gonna move to Japan.
Did you do hiragana?
Yeah, so I learned hiragana, katakana and stuff like that. I got up to N5,
Okay.
basically before moving.
Very basic.
Very basic, but I felt like it gave me the right foundation to then be able to absorb Japanese that I would hear. If you're going from zero and then trying to learn Japanese by listening.
Doesn't have anywhere to go.
No, it has
like,
no
you don't
context.
know what to do with it.
It has no context. So I think it provided a good foundation after from moving to actually keep learning from Japanese I hear at the convenience store or whatever it might be.
So what I get from this is all three of us moved with a trip prior to moving. So we'd visited Japan.
Yeah.
And we all knew.
Yeah.
So we have that in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested on all of because you worked in finance and what all of our degrees are and how far they extend into where we are now.
And what experience we needed to get here, right?
Yeah. So for me, when I moved here, from a very young age, I wanted to be an actor. That was my dream through high school and through extracurricular courses. And then in university, I studied to be an actor. But when I finished university, all my friends went off to some of them different countries to further their studies or different areas of Australia. So I didn't have that, I didn't have an apartment. I didn't have many belongings because I'd gone to a different town to go to university. So I didn't really have like a base anymore. And so that was like a perfect time for me to yeah. But I was like, I'm gonna make it work in Japan and I'm gonna be an actor in Japan.
Oh, that was the plan.
That was the plan.
Like go on Japanese dramas and TV shows?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I'd contacted a bunch of actors who I'd seen like through YouTube videos about like Saigon dramas and stuff. I'd found them on LinkedIn being like, what's your journey? What's your story? None of them replied to me. Yeah, and I watched a lot of J-vloggers as well and I was like, they're all so cool. So I was like, I'm gonna vlog while I'm there on my pursuit to being an actor.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I joined a bunch of agencies and I did like commercials and a bunch of things, did motion capture for a video game and stuff. And during that time, it was like, you know, just trying to get money. So I was English teaching.
Grinding.
Yeah, I was grinding. YouTube and everything. And then I was just very lucky that YouTube took off. But I also realized with acting, with my Japanese ability and also the kind of roles that were available in Australia, I trained like really deeply in like, you know, a lot of character work and suddenly going from that to like, wow, I'm a tourist in Japan. Oh, yippee. It was like,
Isn't like the Saigon drama really over the top?
yeah.
Yeah, so we have to explain what a Saigon drama is.
It's like a historical reenactment or a reenactment of like a thing. The payment that the models get for that is so low. I watched so many things about Saigon dramas because a lot of them, they can say whatever they want as well because they get dubbed over or like subtitles. So there was this World War II one where like there was a foreigner hired to be like an artillery guy, like had a machine gun. He was just yelling, washing machine, washing machine. Because they cut out his audio, like they just dub it over. So yeah.
Please tell me you have some footage of some
I
of
know.
this somewhere. Like I know everyone. We all want to see this, right?
No, honestly, I didn't really do much Saigon dramas. It was mainly commercials. But like, I looked into a lot of stuff before I came here. I researched as much as I could before I came here so that I was ready for it. So I have like my old commercials and everything. There was some cool stuff. The auditions you have to do for modeling and acting is just like over and over. You pay for your own transport and it's just very time consuming.
not good for mental health either. When you see all these beautiful people come in the
Yeah,
room.
that
I did it
was-
once. I was
yeah.
like, I don't belong here.
The one time, I told this story before maybe, but I got told I'm auditioning to be Cinderella. And so I got there and everyone there was beautiful. I was like, okay, I'm not bad, but like, these people were like,
You realize how average you are when you go to these auditions. You're like,
But I got in there and I was like, hi, I'm Emma. I'm supposed to be auditioning for Cinderella. And they're like, oh no, sorry, you're here for the ugly stepsister. And I was like, woo! Holy crap. But the audition was actually, as I found out there, for a laxative commercial. And Cinderella was the one who had to be like, oh, and I just had to say some stuff about something else. So it was okay.
Wow.
So yeah, the self-esteem, also being a model here, just, yeah. Also, you know, showing up to fittings. I showed up at like 8 a.m. I was the first one there. They were like a board of like directors and they're like, try on the shoe. And I was like, it doesn't fit. And they're like, you can go. I was like, you have my foot measurements. Why would you bring me here? I had to pay to get here. It's 8 a.m. Many experiences, but yeah, eventually making my own content and doing my own thing ended up being much more rewarding. Being able to have like commercials and like jobs I've done, it feels good to be like, yeah, I did that, you know?
The thing is though, so to be a model or be in an agency, do you require any experience or qualifications?
So for those, I don't know what it's like now, but for Japan, you didn't really need that kind of stuff. You go to the agency, they take your photos and they're like, all right, if anything comes in, we'll let you know. And then you start building your portfolio and then you can get better and better jobs. The starting point is relatively open. Like you can just give it a go.
Easy entry.
I'm very grateful for those experiences and I'm glad that I got to try it out, but life went very differently to what I expected my acting career in Japan to be. Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't take the turn towards YouTube, it would have been down, you know, laxative ads and
Yeah, I literally still be laxative Cinderella.
How about we talk about you next?
Yeah.
Because mine's similar-ish.
What was your degree in?
accounting and finance. I was a numbers guy. Like it's just
You have a numbers brain. Like you're always like switched on.
I've always been analytical and like even in like creative work, I'm always thinking in that way, what's most efficient way and what might be, what not there. I think because of that, I kind of saw it as it would be silly to not take advantage of this side of me back when I was like 18, like 17, 18, trying to work out. Apparently that was the biggest decision of my life. I had to make it when I was like 16, 17, whatever, what I'm going to do for the rest of my life
Yeah,
kind of
the
shit.
uni degree.
But I decided to do accounting and finance. I did my degree in 2 years rather than 3 or 4. So I graduated when I was 20.
Were you in honours or something? Like,
Yeah, so summer holidays were cut short and you would do an extra semester there.
you're one of those people. It wasn't like that.
I wanted to get out of education as fast as I could. Basically, that was my thing.
And earn money in the real world, yeah.
It wasn't even about earning money. It was, I wanted to be doing stuff. I just didn't want to be stuck in a system that I really wasn't enjoying anymore. I was a high achiever in like high school and secondary school, whatever that is in other sides of the world, up until the age of 16. I was like one of those. I didn't have to try too hard and I was high achieving. I had good friends and all that shit, whatever.
That life.
But then it's
was not
like going into high school, 16 to 18 and 18, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. Like it wasn't
Probably
fun.
too easy for you. Yeah,
It wasn't even that. It was, I just wasn't having fun. And I wanted out.
My question is, so you did finance and you did it in London and then you moved to Japan. Why didn't you do it? Because there's a lot of people I hear that want to do accounting and finance in Japan.
Yeah.
Why not?
I didn't want to be doing finance anymore. I don't regret my finance career at all. Like it taught me a lot that I still use every day now on like how to talk to different people from different backgrounds and different levels in the hierarchy and structure and whatnot, and how to kind of change how I talk accordingly and whatnot. But I wasn't satisfied, or I wasn't finding any satisfaction in my work, essentially. I think from when I was a kid, I always enjoyed making stuff. I would often break my toys to get the parts out to see what I could make with the parts, essentially.
Like an engineer almost.
Yeah, and then like my parents and grandparents, everyone would see this, so they would start buying me sets of things where I could make things like Meccano and things like that. So I'd always had an itch to make stuff, and I picked up a camera when I was like 20 or so. I started doing freelancing and whatnot. It was only like after 5 years of finance, like, nah, I want to be actually making stuff and want to be doing that with my camera. And I kind of made the decision after a run of like health scares and issues and whatnot. I was like, okay, I should put more effort into doing things I want to do instead of doing things just for the sake of it. Like, because it earns me money, I should do it kind of thing or whatever. Like, I was good at accounting and numbers or whatever, but I didn't enjoy it. So I kind of made the decision, I'm only going to do stuff that I actually really enjoy or want to do. And moving to Japan, I went through the whole teaching English and whatnot, but I loved it. I actually really enjoyed it. So I didn't see it as a step back those first 2 years, because I was like, okay, I'm still doing something I want to do, which is a positive. And the other thing is, I feel like I'm moving in a direction that makes me happy as well. So a lot of people kind of look at that, you know, teaching English experience in Japan. Obviously everyone's experience is different, and some of it look at it as a step back. For me, I'd taken a huge pay cut to do that, as well as, you know, starting from zero, and it's scary and all those things, but I did not see it as a step back. I felt like I was moving in the right direction and I was happier. So I was like, wherever this is going, I'm doing the right thing.
Did you have experience editing at that point?
Not much video. Photography, I'd been doing it since I was like 18, like 19, 20 or so, like that. It was only, I think just before coming to Japan, maybe like I'd had a year or two, maybe 2 years of video editing experience by that time. But again, it was like kind of basic stuff. Basic in the sense like I'd been doing stuff, but it was more like straight
self-trained
cuts.
as well?
Yeah, self-taught, and it was less on job because I was getting more photography work rather than video. It was only after moving to Japan that I was getting more video work. I decided to focus on that.
So for me, I also moved here on the working holiday, and for university, I did 3 majors. I did econ, international business, and Japanese, because I also wanted to go into the more business direction. Did I like it? Not necessarily. It was a really hard degree for me. It wasn't my natural ability, but I knew I had to do something where I could get a career and figure something out. So I did that, and I moved to Japan. I just wanted to work in a cafe. I was like, I don't want to do any serious work. I don't want to be in a bank. That sounds depressing. So I just started working casually at cafes in Kyoto because I was going to be there for 6 months and then a year in Tokyo. And I wanted to work in Tokyo after my cafe stint as like a model and do what Emma did, because you don't need any qualifications. You just
Laxative
gotta,
ad.
yeah,
Laxatives.
but for me, like I got signed to an agency and then the pandemic hit and then all the work just dried up and I was like, that's not good. So then I was like, okay, time to go back to the marketing thing. I just went on LinkedIn and I applied for so many jobs, but no one was hiring because there was no money. And then Tokyo Creative was hiring and I was like, please take me. I need this because I literally had no money left. I was running out of money and I was looking at like plane tickets. I was like, I need to leave if I don't get a job by this date. And it was like a month before I had to leave. Yeah, so it was very last minute, but I was like, okay, marketing saved my butt. So I had a bit of previous experience in Australia, which is what got me through. And I did an internship as well as like a part-time job in Australia. So without that, I don't think I would have had the mindset as well as like the qualifications, skills and experience. So while you're at uni, if you're still a uni student, do an internship is my biggest advice because you don't know where it'll lead you and you can build connections and skills. So I just got to stay here because of that. Like I would have left. It would have been bad. So so we all kind of stumbled into where we are. I kind of want to talk about the job search process because there are so many different ways you can find jobs, you know, through word of mouth, through, you know, introduction or searching on LinkedIn, walking into an office. So how did we all end up in our positions? Like for me, I just said I applied online, but how did you guys get to the place you are now? Especially with technically, you didn't plan to be there.
Yeah. And like, you know, a degree in acting, it's like a very random.
I mean, it relates to YouTube and being on camera, but it's still not 100%.
Yeah. I think I had the skills that I needed and I had the
right timing maybe.
Yeah. So with YouTube started picking up and then I started getting offered sponsored jobs through various companies. And so I started doing like travel jobs and going to different prefectures and promoting stuff and trying things out. And I did it with this one particular company a bunch of times. So I got to know the person that worked at that company.
So building a relationship basically.
Yeah. Like I started building relationships with heaps of different people through the jobs that I was getting and keeping in contact, you know, that kind of thing. And then I did, one particular job. At that point, my visa had run out and I started going to language school. So I went to language school for 6 months. And that whole time I was like trying to figure out what I was going to do for work.
Because you can still work on the language school visa, right? For a certain number of hours.
Well, I was doing YouTube work still with that, but I was like, how can I get a work visa? Like, what's the next step? And so luckily I did a job with that same company and that person was like, hey, by the way, I'm starting a company. Would you like to be a part of it? And I was like, yes!
This company, right?
Yeah, it was Tokyo Creative, And so I just happened to have made the right kind of connections and know the right kind of people and be able to do the kind of work. Also, I did an internship before I moved to Japan as well and worked at a company they had a website that was kind of like a small YouTube, I guess. So they had like news shows and comedy shows and like lots of topics and stuff. So I learned about cameras, reading off prompts.
Oh, that would have been helpful.
Yeah, editing, like presenting. So yeah, with all of that training, and I did a lot of improv training as well, it just kind of worked in the right way. So although it was very lucky that it all worked out, I also had the skills to back up that luck when it did happen. So then and then I joined Tokyo Creative and then we kind of figured it out as we went too.
I do feel like a lot of job opportunities are not only timing, but you also just need to have like the skills and be ready. Because that's like when an opportunity is there, you need to just grab it because it might not come back for like a long time.
It's very easy to say no. As in, it's very easy to mess up that opportunity when it comes and be like, you know, you get scared away and shy away from it or something.
Well, that kind of reminds me of when I applied for my job at TC, there was one other job I was going for actually, and I haven't talked about it because it was at the Australian Embassy in Tokyo.
Oh,
and
I was like,
it looked really good. It was an Australian salary, I believe. It was really good conditions, which means a lot better than Japan. But I was like, do I do the fun job at Tokyo Creative or do I do the business serious one? And I remember talking to my parents and both had a different opinion. And I was like, my gut feeling is go with Tokyo Creative. And I have never regretted it.
Yay!
And I think you just have to do what makes you happy. It doesn't matter if you're making your parent happy, your friend happy. Like I would have been so devastated if I didn't pick this route. So if you guys have that kind of thing, just go with your gut feeling.
I had no idea about that job. That's awesome.
I mean, I didn't know if I got the job, but I just didn't even send the application. I was like, no, I'm just going 100% of the TC. Wow. So yeah. How about you? Like, how did you?
I think I'm similar to Emma in the sense of it's like right time, right place, but having set up the pieces for that to happen. And then when the opportunity came to be like, yes, like jumping on it. I left teaching English like a few years ago already. I was working at a different company doing marketing and whatnot, content and whatever. I was working with other YouTubers and whatnot on a freelance basis as well. The year before I joined Tokyo Creative, I was just burnt out after working for like 10 years. Just
at a company, right?
Yeah, I was at a company before and then I quit them. I was like, okay, I need to take some time off to just cook and watch anime and just do nothing and sleep and things like that. When it came to I'm ready to get back to work after needed this break. That's when the TC situation came up. TC was looking for someone. I was told, hey, send an email to Shorty. So I did, and I think like a month later, it was just like, hey, do you want to join?
I remember you did like a trial run, like with us.
No, I'd already
You already
I'd
signed
already
on? Oh, I thought you were just
no. So that was just a freelance gig before
okay.
starting full time.
Yeah.
I'd already been given a start date
cool.
by that time already. Similar to Emma, right place, right time, but I'd put in the work for that to happen. Essentially, Tokyo, you need to be talking to people, making friends, and people are kind.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People are kinder than you think, and they put you in the right places.
Did you guys have any challenges when you were job hunting? Like, I know it all kind of just worked out.
I mean, for ages, I was looking at working at GABA.
Of
the English teaching. Yeah, because there are not many job opportunities, especially back then, that were like Tokyo Creative. I didn't know of any job opportunities. I was looking at any possible jobs that would work for me and that would give me a visa as well. And a lot of the time, yeah, it was English teaching and trying to figure out how to do YouTube jobs and English teaching. But English teaching, you have to have a pretty fixed schedule. So being able to do like sponsored jobs like, hey, we're gonna need you for a few days this week. You can't do it. So I'm like, do I say goodbye to my YouTube career? I'm still so grateful that the Tokyo Creative job opportunity came along because it allowed me to do so much. Whereas, yeah, it was just looking through the options and going, oh God, like that was the challenge of just trying to figure it out. And then luckily TC came along. So.
How about you?
Challenges, it's at the beginning, it's just going to be really difficult. When you don't know anyone, when you don't know the language, and yeah, it's a starting from zero that it sucks at the beginning. But then it just depends on how you look at that challenge if you're gonna try and make something of it. And I learned Japanese and I tried to make friends. Like I feel like my personality has changed over the years compared to where I was in London. That change has led me to the opportunities that I found myself in. So the challenges I was facing before, I was able to tackle them. The major challenge, the biggest one, is just the starting from zero. But I think that's the best way to look at it is it can only go up from there. Like it can't get worse.
And most people are in the same boat, especially if you're a foreigner. Like maybe you'll have like some people who have connections, but it's more, most people are starting from zero.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just like I said, people are kind. They're kinder than you think. I feel like being here, it's asking for help really helps. Just like you said, like everyone's in the same boat. People are more open to helping each other because of that.
They know, you can sympathize with each other.
Yeah. Compared to what it was like for me in London, I'd feel, which is a bit more...
It's cutthroat back there, I think.
Cutthroat, there is that. And it's just like, people are busy. People don't maybe empathize as much because they haven't tried to do the same thing, whereas maybe here people empathize a bit more. So
I think we're referring to the foreign community here, the Gaikokujin community, because we've all come here and left our homes. There's a lot of like online Facebook groups where you can like network and events. One of the best resources you can do and use is like the internet. Like search for positions, but use LinkedIn, use job forums. But also these days, if you're interested in social media, because this is obviously what we specialize in, I would recommend looking up companies in Tokyo because I've seen so many that are popping up doing content. So if you have any background in just like filming on your phone and making daily life stuff, that's going to be your resume for content creation, because we're not hiring someone, and I'm just speaking on behalf of like me as an individual business person as well as a company perspective. I need to see your experience, and you don't need to have 10,000 views. We just need to see,
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think these days, if you want to be making content like reels and shorts, consistently doing it is going to be a lot. It's a resume in itself. And I think I've seen other companies hiring people just based off their Instagram profiles. If you haven't done anything, get started now. Just film cooking videos or like, I don't know, you don't even have to show your face.
I think make the thing that you want to be working in. If it's YouTube, make YouTube videos. If it's Instagram socials, work on those things. Because as soon as, I think, because I'm always looking for video editors and I'm like looking for YouTube video editors, but someone sends me an Instagram reel, like, that's not gonna work.
It's not the right thing.
When I got the job at TC, I had a huge amount of stuff to show that I could do the work. And like, you know, for YouTube and everything, it's like my video that went viral. Before that point, I had lots of content where people could watch, so it's not like people stuck around, you know, it's like having that backlog of stuff to show, oh look, I can actually do this is like super important.
It's a resume in a new modern sense.
Also like, I don't know, I looked for editors a little while ago, and the amount of people that were like, hey, I can edit, but I need you to send me stuff to edit so I can show you that I can do it. I'm like, that's not how it works. You need to show me that you already know and you have examples on how to do stuff. So just having a backlog of like, this is what I want to do and here's me doing it is really important.
And then I kind of want to talk about, did you guys have interviews? What's the interview process like?
Did I have an interview?
I mean, yours is a very unique
I don't think
role.
I had an interview.
I definitely had an interview. And
I had
it was-
interviews at TC, but
Yeah.
like it was after deciding I'm only doing things I want to do. I'm being myself. Like I'm not compromising on those things. It became so much easier. That's the thing. Like I didn't feel like I had to impress anyone anymore. So that was more a personal thing that I was like, I'm not gonna take it in.
You weren't desperate for the job then, I guess, in a sense.
It wasn't. No. It wasn't that. It was I wanted the job, but I wasn't gonna compromise on being someone I'm not.
I think it's good if you can do that. Like for me, I would do anything at that moment because I was going to be leaving.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, please. I was just like, not that I wasn't myself, but I was like, I need this. There are so many jobs here in Japan and there's always going to be companies looking for people. So my biggest advice is just go for it, clean up your resume, brush up your Japanese skills and go in there positive, and I think you can find a job. And don't give up, even if you get rejected 10 times. The 11th time is the charm, maybe.
I think don't give up is something that I would say as well. There's so many things that, from my point of view, there's fewer options of jobs, like depending on how good your Japanese is and everything, it can be a bit harder than finding a job in your own country. I know so many people that have found a way to do it, even though people might say like, oh, well, that's impossible. Like,
I've
that's
had
too
that
hard.
people say that to me.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
jobs in marketing, Sarah, you're not getting a job.
Yeah,
And then I was like,
it's
bam.
Yeah, right? It's like so many people will prove that wrong. So
Yeah.
definitely just keep
Believe in
working at it.
yourself.
Believe in yourself, yeah.
I definitely do think that the more Japanese you know, the more you increase your chances, the more you can get used to kind of Japanese business cultures and then kind of mix it with your foreign point of view on things and being able to understand both and even bridge the two. Those things will help you so much, setting yourself apart from other candidates, because everyone's going to be wanting the same jobs essentially. But yeah, don't give up, keep going.
And figure out what makes you special and what your competitive advantage is. I think that's really important. We are out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually have to go.
Yes, I actually have to.
job, yeah.
I have to pack up. I have 2 minutes to pack up everything.
But let us know if this was helpful. I'm sure there's so many more questions, so we can make a part 2, but let us know down below. And it was really nice chatting with you guys.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. Nice to know more about both of you.
It was my first time as well. Yeah. Let me know how I did if you don't want to see me anymore.
Yeah. Oh no! Tell him he's great.
Shah's awesome. Comment Shah is awesome down below. All right, bye.
Bye. The first one I did, I was a mum to a 7-year-old boy and I was 20 years old. And I was like, hello, my son. His name was Johnny. Yeah, that was a
Was he
wild one.
Japanese or like?
No, he was,
Oh, wait, no,
He was American. Yeah, yeah.